Remember in the previous episode of Breaking Records, I said, today I sat down in this chair intending to record a very different video. Well, this is the video I was talking about. It's largely the same car, well, it's exactly the same car, the 992 Generation 911 GT3 RS by Porsche, but on a completely different track. The home to the Indian Grand Prix, the Buddh International Circuit. My name is Neil, welcome back to Hot Laps. You know the drill, a 5-lap session, discounting the first one because for half of the lap the tires are really cold, so I'm not going to get a fastest lap on that. Apart from that, I really get 4 laps where I at least try to beat the fastest lap record held by that car on that track. Matching the weather conditions and the tires as closely to the actual lap record attempt as possible and using my own car setup, in this case the GT3 RS in Buddh International Circuit, which was set by none other than Formula 1 race car driver and nicknamed the fastest Indian, Mr. Narain Karthikeyan at 1 minute 59.854. Now I am recording this video after already having driven the car. If you would like to jump right into the fastest lap, here's a timestamp, you go watch that because I'm going against an actual Formula 1 driver here. Well, technically an ex-Formula 1 driver, but anyway, he's a pretty fast one. So I really need to make sure I get my car set up right and get the weather and track conditions as fair as possible. Now from the video of the lap record, the one by Autocar India, you can check it out on YouTube. I'll try to link that down in the description. First of all, the video was uploaded in late December 2023. So the lap record might have been attempted sometime in mid or late December itself. I used to live in the same city, well on the other side of the same city once. I do have some experience of what the temperatures there are like, and in mid-December, late December they're pretty cold. The lap looked like it was being set during the morning, and temperature at that time of the year, at that time of the day, must be around 10 degrees Celsius. Again, I do not have an official data, so it may be off by a couple of degrees, even 4 or 5 degrees, but I don't think it was lower than 10. Let's say that. After the recent MotoGP race that took place there in the track conditions, the track surface was not very optimal, so I'll show you. I am going with slow, which is 96% of something, grip. Anyway, no wind speed because I do not have data on that. Light fog because that's what it looked like in the video, although you'll see my lap. I don't know how that qualifies as light fog. Anyway, Assetto Corsa being Assetto Corsa, I guess. I'm keeping the penalties on, and no, 158.107 is not the lap time you're going to see because that lap time was set on optimum track conditions, clear weather, 25-26 degrees Celsius, something like that. So the lap time you're going to see is nowhere close to that 158.107. Then what is it? Hold on, we'll get there. First of all, we need to discuss the car setup. Now I won't take too much of your time here. First of all, I'm going to use this setup I have named Hot Lap Low Fuel for India because that is what this track appears to be in this game. Although the official name of the circuit, like I said, is Buddh International Circuit and not India. Gears, you can see them, you can't change them, it's a road car who changes gearing on that. Tires, I'm using Cup to R tires once again, just like the previous video. Now, in the video by Autocar India, they do not say it's Cup to R they're using, but the car they show during the lap, after the lap, you can clearly see the car is wearing a fresh pair of, well, a set of Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 Rs. So that's the tire we are going to use. Fuel, just 20 liters because come on, 5 laps. I won't even need that. It's just a round number to satisfy my OCD. Traction control off from the electronics, ABS on, the usual tail. In drivetrain, I'm going with 40% on differential power as opposed to 50 from Silverstone because this track has many slow corners followed by really long straights, so you will need to accelerate from very slow speed and get a really good exit. Otherwise, you are going to lose a heap of time. And to make sure the car is stable under those kinds of accelerations and exits, I need to keep the differential power as low as possible. In fact, if it had that option, I would set it even lower. 30% on differential coast. Suspension, well, this is the setup. Just pause the video and copy, I guess, if you'd like to. Okay, one last thing, and I do promise it's the last thing, but it's really important. The lap that Narain did was on the MotoGP layout of this track. The one I'm going to use here was actually, it's a mod that's ported into Assetto Corsa. I think from the F1 2022 or 2023 game, I think it's 22, I'm not sure. But anyway, it's the Formula 1 layout. It's hard to describe, so here's the layout difference, the two maps, and as you can see, I'm going to have to navigate through an entire extra chicane, although the preceding corner to that chicane is tighter on the MotoGP layout, but from that to the next corner, it's a straight line. So yeah, I did eventually manage to beat his lap time by the narrowest of margins, but I really thought this was something worth mentioning. So then, here's me trying to beat Narain's lap time and failing again and again and again. Eventually, I did manage a 5 consecutive lap session, and well, here's the fastest lap out of that. So what you're looking at is the 5th and final lap of the session, and as you can see, the 4th lap itself was faster than our target record, but I decided to keep going and it paid off since this is the fastest out of those 5 laps. But like I said, I really struggled to put together a proper complete 5 lap session without crashing or anything. And it's quite a challenge because, listen, this car handles beautifully as long as you're driving it within its limits. The moment you're not, it really bites, particularly on the slow corner exits like I was saying before. If you're too enthusiastic with your throttle, it just locks its differential and sends you up for a spin, and at that point you're just a passenger. So yeah, this car really isn't very progressive while going over its limit. Or should I say this mod isn't, because at least from what the reviews say, the actual car doesn't feel anything like that. Which is exactly why I said earlier that if I had the option to set the locking differential's power figure lower, I would have done that. 40% is just too high for a track like this. But as long as you're within its limits, the downforce and grip this car generates, particularly for a road car, is heroic. And yeah, other men with more credential, might I add, have already said these things about this car, but I can 100% echo those opinions, especially being the owner of a sim racing channel that focuses more on road cars than racing cars really. I mean, check out this car take the upcoming right-hander that is turned 12, absolutely flat out. Yeah, I was going flat out, but you'll see some flickering in the green bar that represents the accelerator pedal. I have developed a noisy accelerator pedal sensor. Apparently that's a known issue in the Logitech G29. I've got some cleaning up to do. But our lap is coming to an end now, only the final corner remains. One of those low corners that have been a source of frustration for me over the last few minutes. But I loved driving this car and this track regardless. Maybe I'll do a how to hot lap series on this. Well, that celebration was called for, but it really hurt. Well, that felt good. That didn't. That did. 159.575. That's, I think, what? 3/10? Slightly less than 3/10 faster than what Narain did. That's the job done for today. And well, I'm getting all sweaty. Did I look like this whole time? I'm sorry. Anyway, share your thoughts about this video down in the comment box below. Also, if you have any other car track in mind whose lap record I should attempt in a future episode of this series, share those records down there as well and I shall try to attempt them. While you're down there, hit like if you liked it, share if you loved it, subscribe if you'd like to see more. On the top left, well, I'll be leaving it blank for now, but once I start racking up a few more of these videos in the series, Breaking Records, I'll put a playlist up there with all the other episodes so you can check those out. And on the bottom left, I'm putting any video that YouTube thinks you should check out. Obviously, that's by me. I'll see you there. Until then, drive hard, drive safe. Take care.